All right. Hello, everyone. This is the Monitor APM weekly meeting for August 5th. So yeah, we'll start going through the agenda. And Dove, you have the first thing around Q3 product goals.
Yeah, so we finalized the product goal for Q3, and I wanted to make sure we are verbalizing them and obviously take any question. There is an MR, so you can ping me on that MR as well. So basically, in this quarter, we'll try to make sure, and we define the goal as to enable GitLab user to be able to display any metric on any GitLab dashboard from any Prometheus instance or instances. Basically, we want to make this experience as easy and smooth as possible. And we've captured 3 KRs. One is being able to connect multiple Prometheus instances, and this will be followed by the issue around implementing or connecting multiple Prometheus instances. There is a spike issue that is undergoing, and hopefully will be followed by an implementation issues. And one of the things that we've realized is that in the real world, users tend to have more than one Prometheus instances for multiple reasons. One is that Prometheus is not scalable, it's not high available, so sometimes they have like more than one. Sometimes you're talking about like different clusters and different locations that spread across different geographical locations. And this is why users tend to have more than one Prometheus instance. So today, as you know, we can only connect a single Prometheus instance, and we want to make sure to accommodate a real world scenario. So this is the first KR. And one more thing to add is that we are leaning toward making this feature a premium feature based on our buyer model. So if you are aware of our buyer model, is that like a single developer feature for a single developer is free, and if it's a team, it's starter. And as you progress with like more likely that more users will use this feature, then it become a high paying feature. So obviously, it is more likely that if you have like multiple Prometheus instances, then you're talking about a full team. So this is why we believe that this specific feature need to be like a paid feature. So as a user, if I'm starting to work on my metrics use case, I can be very successful with a single one, and I can see how it works. And then when I want to connect more, then this is where I should probably purchase the paying tier, like purchase it as a paid feature. The second one is the add metric to a custom dashboard workflow, and this is like the big epic, the big thing that we started to work on this iteration, and we'll continue to work on that in the following iteration. And obviously, it contributes to this goal. And the third KR, which is a measurable KR, is to see how we can increase the number of custom dashboard created by 100%. So obviously, the first 2 KRs are more like actionable, make sure that the user will have like a smooth experience on creating and adding GitLab metric to a GitLab dashboard. And the third one is something that we can track and measure. Questions around metrics? It's not. The second one is around logging, because you know we have like 2 pillars, one for metrics and one for logging, is to make sure our user will be able to view all logs across their entire Kubernetes cluster in GitLab UI. Today, users are able to see the logs that are coming from the deployed application through a CI job. And we recently added the option for maintainers to see logs that are deployed in the GitLab Manage app namespace. So those are the applications that we deploy for the user. But as you're probably aware, we want to accommodate a real world scenario. In the real world scenario, the deployed application and the managed GitLab application is just a subset of the services, sometimes a minor subset of all the services and applications that are deployed to a cluster. So having this ability to expose and surface all the logs from all the cluster, helping our users with the problem, the challenge of searching through and aggregated logs will be very helpful. So this is the goal. This is the second goal around logging, and the KR, which hopefully will help us to improve our performance indicator by 25%. The number, the 25% is arbitrary number, but something that we can work on and iterate as we continue to the next quarter and try to identify what is like the right number around that. Any questions around the goal for metrics and the goal for logging? Because this will probably be our main focus for the coming quarter. Cool. Thanks. And the second issue is around alert-related bugs and issues. So obviously, we want to make sure that our decisions are data-driven. And we've seen that the number of users that are using our alerting feature is not high. We're talking about less than 10 in a month. So when I come to prioritize features or bugs that are related to alerting, I probably won't put them as like P1 or P2, unless it's like something that is critical, like broken functionality. So I just want to provide this message to the team. So if you are opening a bug about alerting and you're not sure what's the priority, you can ping me. It's probably more likely that we'll schedule other more high impact bugs around metrics, around logging, and we'll prioritize them over alerting. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to invest in alerting. There will be a time, then we'll start working on alerting. But as I see it, alerting is like something we build on top of our metrics and logging. So once we'll have like our metrics will be like in a better shape, this is where we can start focusing on alerting. Question around the second item? I'm not watching the chat, but okay, so no one. Good. The third one is just an FYI. I messaged it on Slack. So I've created an epic to capture all the improvement that we have around visualization. And I've created sub-epic for each type of visualization: heat map, stack column, column chart, bar chart, and so on and so forth. So it will be easier for all of us to track and identify those related issues. So when you're opening issues on different visualization, try to map them to the right sub-epic. In the coming iteration, we are going to implement telemetry to understand what is the usage from our users on those visualizations. And it will help us prioritize the work on improving those visualizations. So obviously, if we see that more users are using a line chart than area chart or something else, then we can prioritize those features over the other. So this is like additional reason of why we should make sure we are bucketing those issues based on the sub-epic of visualization. That's it for me. Next one is Clement.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to share real quick. Matt and I are going to work on this OKR for Q3. From an engineering perspective, we want to work to reduce the frequency of new bugs that are introduced. So I realize the way the title is set up is a little bit confusing, but we just picked a random number to start with, like the goal of reducing the new bugs introduced by 30%, and then the arrow shows 0% progress, and not to say that we'll never have any bugs. That would be unrealistic. So what we plan to do is trying to do some metrics first, logging kind of what new bugs have been introduced in the quarters and then the months, trying to identify any common themes. So similar to what Sophia has been talking about in the past, with doing some more retrospective stuff on the bugs to try to see if we can draw some common themes. Maybe there are certain things that we could get better at, and then try to see if there's maybe some new process we can introduce, or training or measures to reduce the bugs. I think we've done a really good job getting really good velocity over the last quarters, increasing MR rate. But there, in my opinion, there is it feels like there's a lot of bugs being introduced, or at least not good stability. And so, not to point anyone out, but this is just something that we can do as a group to kind of raise the bar in our efforts as we continue to move forward. So if anyone is interested in participating and helping out in this process, please chime in on the issue. It is, quite a big scope, and we definitely welcome anyone who is interested in helping out to help out. That's about it. Matt, did you want to highlight anything else?
No, I think you covered it pretty well. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Any questions about that, or otherwise we can wrap up? Got Sophia's approval.
Good. All right. Yep. Does anyone else have any other topics they want to cover? All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.